Hey, what's going on, guys? With all the interest in homesteading and growing our own food and natural sourcing food, we thought we'd talk a little bit about what you can do with a small piece of land. We're going to show you about what we're working on with about a ½ acre here and some other projects we got going on as spring gets underway on the Vincent Family Homestead. So stay tuned. In areas that allow this, and you have to check ordinances when you're in the city or county, you can have chickens, and chickens can be kept in several different ways. We started, if you look at this area, you can tell this used to be a coop, a run with a coop, and now we let the chickens free range. We've been doing that for about 2 years now. So we're actually going to redo this area and make this more of a chicken house with a barn and a pole barn and a place to start feeding hay. So we're just going to reimagine this and re-engineer this. But you can take a small space. I think eventually originally we had 25 by 25 space, and in that 25 by 25 space you could keep I would, people would go as high as 10 chickens. I think that's a little high for us, but 4 or 5 laying hens and even a rooster, if you'd like, in a run like this will give you, depending on how many eggs you eat a week, one hen could probably go 4 or 5 eggs a week easy, maybe more. So you're thinking 4 to 5 hens, that's 20 or so, 20 more or less eggs a week. So a little bit over a dozen. If that's about what you eat, you could raise enough eggs in this 25 by 25 spot, which is not that big, to supply your family with eggs for the week. Also, another thing we've got going on here is we've got Nigerian dwarf goats for dairy. If you can see those in there, I think they're eating right now. Valerie's putting some feed out for them. But yeah, you can. These are Nigerian dwarfs, so they are a smaller breed of goat. Both of them, of our does, we think are expecting pretty soon. But they'll be hopefully being milked, and we'll get milk from them. It's a good way to do a dairy product on your homestead. I think what we have right here is a space for them is about 50 by maybe 100, maybe a little bit more left. Hello, Jeff. You want to get into action this morning? He thinks I'm going to feed you something. Okay, you're going to get your head hung. But yeah, about 50, maybe 50 by 100 space here, and that's plenty of room for them. They're fine with it. We're actually going to expand it a little bit more just to give them more space, and plus to divide the Jeff here away from the girls when we don't want them bred, so kind of give us some control over that. But about a 50 by 100 space. If you didn't want to keep a buck, if you just want to keep a couple of does, you could probably pay someone to help your does breed to freshen them, and you just keep those. We could easily keep a couple of does here with no problem. 50 by 100 space. You could probably keep a couple dairy goats, maybe a little bit less than that. You could probably get away with, and they'd be fine. So that's another thing that we're doing here. We like the Nigerian dwarfs just because of the size, and these guys don't tend to try to break out too much. I mean, if you hear about a lot of rumors about them trying to escape, typically though, as long as They got feed and water. We found that they're actually more happy in their pen. If they do get out, they're kind of anxious to get back in and just be fed. So not super hard to take care of if you just keep everything managed. But yeah, it's about 50 by 100 space. Yeah. Okay, another thing, and if you've watched our videos, you know this is sort of the pride and joy of our homestead, but our rabbitry. And I think one of the things I love most about rabbits is I think that they are a really great, not just a starter animal, but I think they're a sustainable animal for homestead type living. You can produce a lot of meat. They're easy to keep. These guys are ready for me to feed them. That's what they're acting up for. They're easy to keep, small space. Like I said, produce a good deal of meat. You can feed them. We have a video called shows how we feed these guys, particularly in the summer months, on about 80% grass from our lawn. In our lawn, I would say this, people have said things about the lawn. Here we don't have a manicured lawn. This is what I call a country lawn, which means there's a lot of variety. So I think if you had something like a Bermuda grass or sod type grass, you might need to supplement a little bit more just to make sure they had all the vitamins and minerals and diversity they need. But they can still certainly eat the grass that you produce, and that's going to be fine. Poppy just got rebred. She's got about 8 more days and she'll produce. She usually produces about 10 bunnies per litter, or Kindle, whichever one, if you want to use the official term. Hannah back here, she's a bit more shy. She should be really getting us a kit here. Well, kit is the official term. We'll call it a litter. Within the next few days here. We don't know what she'll produce because she's never had anything before, so we hope she's a good producer. This is actually Poppy's daughter. So we ended up having to replace Meg, who was she didn't produce a lot, and she was really difficult to breed, so we actually just had to cull her, take her out of the rabbitry, and replace her with one of the daughters of Poppy, who is very readily bred, and so hopefully if she produces offspring, she'll be a good replacement. So we have that there. But yeah, so, and we've another thing we have on the property here is pigs. I think this is probably about a 50 by 50 here, and we were using T-post, and with the pigs we found that the electric fence is pretty important to keep them from going under the field fence. So just a strand of electric fence around the bottom, and that has kept them in. And like I said, they have about a 50 by 50 area, which is decent for them. But we are doing that here. The idea, really, we have more pigs than we need. We want to actually just keep one boar and one sow, and we've talked about some of that in some other videos. Our long-term plan is just to keep one breeding set and raise piglets, a couple for our own food, and sell the rest of them. But yeah, about a 50 by 50 space back here with field fencing, and you see that we were able to keep pigs in that space. Okay, you've probably seen this in the videos before. This is the garden spot. Garden spot is an experimental spot. As of this last year, we've broken the ground up here before, fenced around the outside so the chickens couldn't get in. If you watch some previous videos, various circumstances caused us to place goats in here to eat down an overgrowth, and then we had the bright idea that, hey, what if we just started cycling animals in over the winter and bringing back in vegetation in the summer. So this is our experimental garden. This is about 25 by 100 garden, and we really can grow more food, squash, tomatoes, beans, and stuff out of this area than we can really eat. We end up, of course, canning, processing, putting that stuff back. But this is something else you can do. I think, like I said, 25 by 100, and you can grow a lot. Trust me, you can grow a lot of food in a 25 by 100 garden spot. And it's going to take you some time with all this stuff to learn how to be efficient, how to be productive. It's not just going to happen overnight, but just if you want to get started with these things, these are some things you can start doing to grow food and produce it on a small place. You know, maybe you can't do 25 by 100, but 25 by 25, or My suggestion is just do what you can do and start small, because you're gonna have to learn. Our first garden, if we'd have videoed it, it didn't look nothing neat like this at all. By the end of the summer, it was an absolute defeat. It looked like we had been invaded by a weed patch. There was just nothing. We didn't get a lot of produce out of it. The weeds took over almost immediately. It took us about a couple of years to get in the basic rhythm and system with it till we were able to actually produce well. And then we're trying to expand that. So, you know, if you say I don't have a lot to work with, well, that may be all you need to work with, because you have to learn these processes. You're not just going to jump up overnight and click your fingers, you know, thump your fingers, and then you got a garden. It's going to take some time to work through this. So, point being, get started. Just find something to do. Start working with it. Grow something. Grow a tomato. Grow a squash. Grow a cucumber. Do something and grow, expand. You'll be surprised. Just getting it started, it will expand on its own. But here we got 25 by 100 garden spots. So it's another thing we're doing on a ½ acre. All right, this is another space we have. This is I'm going to say this is about a 25 by 25 space here. It's not complete. We have 3 raised beds in it. We want to put 3 more to have a total of 6. We have things idea how to rotate these out. We're filling these basically with compost we produce. Probably I would say about 80% rabbit manure. You see, got collards there. We've eaten. If you watch some of our videos, we've eaten salads and greens. Of course, we're in zone 7-8, right on the middle, or 7B, I think, which is pretty warm. It's already, here we are, first week of March, and we're getting 80 degrees, so put that in context. But we were able to eat greens out of the garden all winter. We will eventually rotate in and start bringing in some spring and fall gardens, and we're going to build 3 more raised beds here. But in this space right here, between this and the lower garden, we can grow enough produce for our family to, with canning and putting it away and freezing it, you can definitely raise enough food to eat fresh vegetables, maybe on a daily basis. Should be on a daily basis. I mean, I would say from your garden that you produce, you should be able to you know, combining that with the rabbit produce we make. At this point in time, yeah, we can eat fresh meat and fresh vegetables that we've grown here several times a week, if not on a daily basis. So this will be complete, but this is, like I said, about a 25 by 25. And behind here, and I'm going to show you this. This is a work in process. We'll just walk out here. You can see the work in progress, because everything's not beautiful and easy. There's work involved in this, and I think personally one of the benefits of this too is, you know, people are looking for ways to exercise, looking for ways to burn those extra calories, and if you get out here and do this stuff, you'll have plenty of opportunity to be physically active out in nature. Yeah, you're going to sweat a little bit, you're going to get a little dirt on your fingernails, but you're going to feel good when you go to bed that night. It's going to be awesome. So we felled a tree late last summer. Still need to process it for firewood, but the purpose is to take there were a couple trees here, and they were not doing anything necessary other than to, you know, create shade for an area that didn't need it. So we wanted to turn this sunny area into a food growing source. So we took the tree down. We're cleaning it up. But here you can't really see great because they haven't sprouted leaves yet, but we have apple trees here. We have several, I don't know if you can see them or not. Planted apple trees. And there's the peach tree there. But the point being right here is we're going to turn this area into a area to raise, you know, fruit trees, fruit from here. So yeah, as you've seen, everything that we've shown you is something we've been able to do within a ½ acre. We have plenty of space here for other projects. We have a good, decent backyard. So yeah, everything that I've showed you, the chicken run, the goats, the pigs, the gardens, the rabbits, all that is taking place within a ½ acre. The only thing that goes beyond the ½ acre would be the chickens, which are free range. and we actually have a full 3 acres that is family property that they are free ranging on. So that's a little different, but everything else we're doing within the half acre. If we were to not free range the chickens and keep them in a run, then we would have everything within the half acre, and there's plenty of space here to do that. And I think we're still, if I were to gauge where we're at as far as productivity here and efficiency, we're probably only about 20% of what we could produce efficiently. And we're still into the building and structural parts of this. But once we get things further along, we can produce a lot of food here, probably more food than we can eat, to the point where we have to be giving food away, and there's not a lot of food costs going out, and that's what we're working on. But yeah, what can you do with a half acre? A whole lot. What can you do with a small piece of land? Probably a lot more than you realize. I think a lot of times when we think about food raising and farming and farmsteading, whatever you want to call it, you think we got to have hundreds and hundreds of acres. But in reality, you don't have to have that much to raise a lot more food than what you think. So I hope that this video has been inspirational to you. We've got a couple projects we got to work on today. I got some roosters that have to be culled, taken out of the flock, other things. So we're going to get on that, and we'll show you some of that and talk about some more of those things later on. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys soon. If you have any questions, comments, you want anything clarified, just shoot us a comment below. We'll do our best to answer those questions and try to give you what we know. Like I said, I'm not the world's greatest expert. I don't know everything. We're just learning. Yeah, so whatever we can do to be a benefit to you, we'll be glad to do. And so God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the weather if it's warm where you're at. We're about to get busy. Talk to you later.